everyone, Senrai Kai here, back with the 12th and final episode of Mieruko-chan. And last episode was a pretty significant one, because we had been watching Zen these past few episodes after first being introduced to him fairly early on in the show, and the audience was given a very deliberate impression about him. And this was given in the same episode that was kind of pushing that don't judge a book by its character narrative. And after all that buildup of what a bad guy, what a sus guy this is, turns out he's not so bad after all. He's just a little bit off because of a very abusive mother. But he doesn't hurt cats. He likes cats. I mean, he has somewhat complicated feelings towards cats, I think, because of the incident with the cat he had as a child and the mother and all that. But definitely likes them, helps them out as best he can. And yeah, he was revealed to not be the bad cat abuser that's been around, and that person has not been revealed yet. Yeah, let's jump on in and see how things go in our final episode. So, 3, 2, 1, play. Bum, bum, bum. Also, that's quite the interesting intro card thingy. I don't think we've had that before. Oh yeah, it was also revealed the mother was the ghost last episode. And we use our third save on her. So yeah, this is all stuff we've already seen, so not much to react to yet. So I'll drink water instead. Whew. Now what do? We use our third time. Just some little ghost sparkles. Or a lot. I guess we trim some off the top. Jesus Christ, it almost looked more terrifying this way. Almost. Does he actually see her? I mean, he was looking over there, but I guess he sees her. Oh, okay, never mind. Ignored. That almost made me jump. Did we finally get her for good this time? She was definitely a stubborn ghost. Still can't make any of that out. Which is probably intentional. You too. And if Zen didn't see any of that, then he didn't see any of that. And just wonders why she's shivering in his room. Yeah, this would be a good time to be freaking out, be afraid. But he's not gonna get it. It doesn't matter to her. You can't tone down her Genki. Doing fine now that his mother's gone. Close enough, I guess. Yeah, that's the reason. Don't be making my friend cry. That would be bad. Really didn't expect her to lecture the teacher here, but. I know, right? That is pretty bad. But that could be taken the wrong way. Oh, there's an aura going on. I guess I kind of stopped questioning the physics of a lot of this stuff. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Just good for the spirits. I kind of felt it. So yeah, if that's gone, everything should be good now. Because that was like the real problem, for Miko. Most likely. Which is easier than it sounds. I would love some. Kumo, very, very inspiring. Don't question it, just eat it. Eat that booty. I don't know. He seems kind of upset. Nekomaru has to go. I heard the crying. First I thought it was like a baby. But, it wasn't. Come on, it'll be okay. Yeah, if that cat dies now, I can't imagine the extra trauma. I feel bad for him, but also I kind of want to laugh at him. I'm sorry, kid, but just. I was kind of thinking the same thing. That's some real dedication. That is kind of hard to imagine, him just like getting all snuggly with it. My cat's over there sleeping. Or bringing that up again. I like how, yeah, everyone has the same reaction. Well, she had extra reason to be fair. It really should be. Aside from the, cat abuser that's out there, lurking in the shadows at night. Whose identity may or may not be revealed in this episode. Did he hear that? I mean, probably did. I mean, why wouldn't he hear it? Mole. Maybe she's a cat killer. I don't trust that mole. I'm not sure I like the sound of that. I mean, it's probably fine. I shouldn't get too worried. Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to eat it, you might as well, have her stop giving it to you. And you have no idea what they did to the food, what they put in it, how they prepared it. I definitely get it. Well, okay then. I mean, yeah, that was kind of like the worst thing we saw him do was dump out her food, but yeah, we got an actual reason for it now, so it's not so bad. I don't like the sound of that. the the important things. Never change, Hana. Please never change. But hey, there's a karaoke place over there. I think it's a karaoke like 3 times. My nearby Totoro. My neighbor Totoro. Which I've still never seen, but any anime fan at least knows the names of the Studio Ghibli movies. Maybe we'll see. A letter in this day and age? That's a little sus. Okay. Yeah, you can tell who they are. They're the Beads girls. Uh, here's the person. God. Okay, here we go. I was hoping someone would show up and it's Zen himself. Oh, did we just solve the problem there? I guess all it really takes is finding him once. That is definitely interesting. Is it like a big like takes up the whole face? That mouth. Yeah, don't you get that? So are we gonna elaborate on exactly what happened to that guy? Which is actually what I thought the crying was at first in the other scene. Sorry, hon. That's probably the first time I've ever seen Don't My translated that way. Probably be the last. That looked like a bell. A ghostly bell. I mean, you might as well. Couldn't hurt. Maybe you could bargain for an extra save. I would give her all the dongos. So many stairs. So many stairs. Don't ask me. But it's probably important. This place could use a bit of a cleaning up. Yeah, did it look this bad the first time we were here? This place needs a Sengoku Nanako. Clean it up. Hello. Would you like an offering? Just don't show fear. I love the wavy kind of effect on their character models, bodies, whatever you want to call it. The longer the scene's going on, the more nervous I'm getting. When you bring Dango. Was it not good enough? I'll get more. Uh. Oh God, Jesus. I I don't understand the problem. Yeah, I don't get it either. It doesn't help that we can't really understand them. Money, I got money. Uh, it's so scary when you don't really know what they want. You just kind of have to guess and do your best. They don't look much happier. I really don't know what we do going forward. Oh, they are really close. Okay. Who do we get to save us from them? Seriously, what is happening? What am I looking at? It's like it has bells for eyes too, which is pretty cool, but I don't know if that would help. How is the situation somehow getting worse? Oh God, they're just everywhere. Yeah, oh God, am I afraid right now? Those beautiful legs do little to ease my fear. Oh, the upside down head. I don't know if we can even do anything anymore. We just have to hope for the best. Hana, maybe you could come help with your aura. What? Was that really? There's no way that was all a dream. Brother? Yeah. It was a scary dream. There's more than one kind of dream, you know. So was the whole thing a dream, or... Nate-chan, please watch it with me. Yeah, I remember these ones. No, I don't see you. But yeah, things have more or less settled down and gone back to normal. As far as the school situation goes. That is a choice camera angle right there. As Hana faces you. Well, yeah, any day is good for it. Just squishing you to your head down there. I was about to say, I don't think I recognize that name. Not even remotely similar. Porsche. I mean, if she likes it, yeah, it's fine. Yuri doing her best back there. You're so short. Are you okay? Of course, Hana struggles in her own way. Remember when Yudia was eating one of those in the bathroom? Don't stifle her creativity. So this is what a butt tastes like. I do kind of want to try one. I guess, sure. I mean, don't spoil it for me. I mean, it depends on what you're watching, I guess. That made me jump a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we didn't get these in previous... Well, I just got assaulted with a huge pile of chills right there. No, I'm looking over there. Like, there's a poster for a movie I want to watch over there. Like, I don't see any ghosts. I don't. Is there a ghost over there? I didn't see anything. Okay, that was the 12th and final episode of Mieruko-chan. And wow, I'm not even sure what to say about this episode, honestly. Right? Like, I mean, yeah, where do I start? I mean, we resolved all the Zen stuff, right? We had both Hana go away pop-ups. We had both Hana and Yuria show up to, visit Sensei in the hospital, which is, of course, a nice thing to do. And although Hana, rather than kind of like checking up on him, making sure he's okay, offering some encouraging words, it was more like lecture mode, which was kind of funny. But, I mean, Hana gonna be Hana. She goes at her own pace. She lives life by her own rules. Just kind of try to roll with her, right? And yeah, after that, not too long after that, we got to see all the like dark stuff kind of like be purified and move on and all that, right? So essentially, like the heavy burden that's been on his shoulders just kind of floated on away, right? So kind of coinciding with the mother being dealt with and all that. So yeah, not really much more to say there, but we were able to convince him to get a cat, which is nice because he loves cats, but he hasn't had one because of his general trauma and all that. So him able to take a step to actually have a cat is good. Although somebody was a little bit sad to see Nekomaru go, but still, it's probably for the best, right? But yeah, moving apartments because your current one doesn't allow pets, that really is some dedication. But yeah, I want to go back to the scene with the neighbor, because I was kind of like, I feel like I was like half paying attention during like an important part. So yeah, after he basically was like being more honest about how he felt, he did that, which interesting timing because he was moving anyway, so he didn't really have much reason to have to clear up any misunderstandings with her technically, but still it was a good chance for it. So why not do it? But yeah, in my opinion, he gave perfectly valid reasons to not want to eat the food. See. Yeah, how did he catch on? I think I missed that line. I hit them in there real good too. Like what is she implying here? Like I thought maybe I just missed something because I saw this line, but I missed the catch on line. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what she meant. Yeah, so I tried to listen to the Japanese and it still isn't quite clear what she's referring to. Maybe I just missed something in the previous episode that implied something, but I don't know. I guess just generally just supposed to imply that yeah, sometimes your neighbor does just put weird things in the food, so you never eat your neighbor's food. That's a life lesson I took from that scene. So thank you for that, anime. Yeah, we're talking about movies, good old My Neighbor Totoro 2, right? Which I'm sure is a fantastic movie. But the popcorn's what Hana truly cares about, let's be honest. And yeah, then we saw Yuria watching the movie, right? So everything kind of comes together. We have the old lady get a bit of a postcard showing like the picture that was taken the first time those two went to the shrine, and she puts her like filters or whatever stickers on the picture, but she can still tell who it is because she can feel their aura. They're two very unique, special girls after all. But and then we had the actual the cat culprit, the cat villain, right? And I was starting to get to the point where I was thinking maybe they wouldn't even address it, like just keep it ambiguous who it was. But no, it showed them, and I don't think it's anyone we knew. Like my guess was the Satoru or whatever, that guy, just because there was no one else that we knew that could be. But it seemed just to be like some random dude, unless I'm just forgetting something. But yeah, good old Zen came across him and gave him the good old shaki, which put an end to that real quick, which definitely felt satisfying to watch. But like, just got resolved really quickly, and yeah, pretty much immediately after that, they showed the same person but on a missing person poster, Tanaka something. But yeah, there's some random dude. So I guess the implication is that Zen just disposed of him. I guess if the last time we saw him was him getting electrocuted by Zen, but I won't think too much about it. As long as the problem's dealt with, that's the important thing. I really do love the running gag of Sensei just not knowing any of their names. Like, what was it? He said Yamamoto or whatever for Yurikawa. Like, yeah, not quite. Not quite. But I would never forget the name Yurikawa, because it's like Yuri, girls love, and Kawa river, so it's like a river full of Yuri. I think there might be an actual river called that too, but because I think I remember the name from like some Japanese board game style video game. I can't remember the name of it, but I feel like I heard it before. Is the only point I was trying to make. But yeah, we also had the weird thing with the shrine ghosts, which I'm still not really sure what to call them. Like, I don't think they really have much of a name in the show itself. It's often just kind of referred to as they or whatever. Like, I don't think they had a concrete name that Miko referred to them by. But yeah, definitely not sure what to make of that, because that was kind of the biggest. Because a lot of what happened in the episode up to this point was not too shocking, right? It felt pretty in line with what I expected for a final episode of this show. The Zen stuff being resolved, the mother being taken care of, the lingering spirits being taken care of. A little bit of mention of our maternity leave teacher and the baby and all that, and Zen eventually getting a cat to take care of. Like, it all seemed pretty reasonable. But the big question mark always kind of was the shrine spirits, which is probably just what I'm gonna call them, because they had the 3 saves for Miko, and we couldn't really understand much of what they say or what their goal was. We just know they kind of showed up one day and helped out Miko a very specific amount of times, and presumably not know more than that. But we really we really don't know anything about them, right? Like, we had a sequence which I was a little bit salty that turned out to be a dream. Well, maybe turned out to be a dream. It's up in the air how much of a dream that was, how much of an actual supernatural experience it was. But because it was just a dream. It's like such a general cop out kind of thing. It can often leave a bad taste in your mouth. But yeah, up to that point, it was really good just how much it was building up the fear, like, in me, because I'm not even in the. It's a work of fiction from my perspective, and I was still getting kind of scared, especially when she started to actually get surrounded by the ghost and just the shrine ghost getting closer and everyone just kind of closing in on them. The one ghost just looking more and more terrifying, and I think we even had like some, what was it, like kind of like dangling or dripping onto her, like I don't know, the ghostly hair, like it's because you kind of like see it go in front of her. Like, it was actually really, really building up the fear rather nicely until it kind of ruined it with the wake up thing. But yeah, then we talked about. Okay, then we started getting into like what they want. Like, are they trying to send her a message that they want something in return, right? Because we don't really know what. Because she in the dream she gave them dango. She tried giving them money. Nothing really seemed to make them any happier. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the deal there was. Maybe there's just like some general mission they hope she accomplishes, using her powers. Otherwise I have no idea. So I really don't know. But I guess that's for a potential season 2 to clarify that more. But otherwise, Miko kind of last few minutes was just kind of showcasing how much she's changed. At the beginning of the show, she definitely struggled a lot to deal with the ghosts. Like, having any semblance of a normal life, being able to do much of anything was difficult because she really couldn't get in the moment, having fun when you just have a ghost like right next to you, asking if you see it and trying to scare you or get in your way, right? It's kind of hard to really have much of a proper life with that being the case, but it did seem like she kind of like built up a bit of. Over the course of the show, built up a bit of a tolerance to it, so maybe she will be able to just in general have more enjoyment out of life if she really can tune them out a bit better. Because I guess almost anything in life can kind of become background noise if you have enough experience with it. Like if you live next to a waterfall, eventually you stop hearing it, like that kind of thing. Maybe it could apply to ghosts. Like, people that see ghosts like this aren't really a thing, so there's not really any real life examples of that specifically to draw from, but. Could be a thing. We got a brief shot of the girls' changing room, which is always nice, and Hana just wearing the most girly underwear ever. I'm actually kind of surprised Hana can find such cute girly underwear in her size, because sometimes I do see anime characters complain about they have to get like really big size bras and stuff for them, and there's not really much of a variety of choice at that size because it's not very common size, right? A few anime I think I've seen, where the characters that mention that, but Hana apparently was able to find what she likes, so good for her, I guess. But, and yeah, we kind of brought it back a little bit with talking about the movie and the popcorn and all that. And then we had a bit of a very horror movie-esque thing there, where it does the very stereotypical anime thing. This program is brought to you by the following sponsors. Like I've heard that since way back in the day. Like you would always hear that with fan subs and stuff. I don't think it's as much of a thing with actual official localizations for some reason. I guess because they're not really TV rips; they're direct streams to the website, right? So I guess that's probably why it's not much of a thing nowadays, but. Definitely one of those nostalgia feeling things whenever you hear it for any anime fan that's been around for before the age of simulcasting and all that. But yeah, we just had that kind of a scary glitch out and seeing some ghosts, and we had a ghost just look straight up at us and ask if we can see it. Which honestly, as far as like the last few seconds of the final episode goes, I couldn't imagine a better ending. But as far as the overall final episode. I don't know. Actually, I'm not even sure how I really feel about it. Right? Like, I don't know. I really don't know what I was expecting in regards to the Shrine Spirit stuff, but this really wasn't it. So I think I'm still processing that, so I'm not really sure. I can't really give much of an opinion on that. But it was kind of weird. That's all I'm gonna say. But because it really didn't do anything after the 3 uses of the saves, right? We had a supposed dream sequence, heavily implying they want something from her in exchange for what they did for her, which makes sense because, give and take, they gave you something for nothing, so they expect something. That's entirely reasonable. Up until this point, they never really made it clear or gave any hint about what that specifically could be. And by the end of this episode, they still didn't really give any kind of hint about what it could be. I think that's probably what I'm a little salty about. Like, they didn't even give me anything to... They really didn't give me any fuel to speculate with. I guess is kind of bit of an annoyance, but yeah, that's my only real gripe with the episode. Probably is the Shrine Spirit stuff. Everything else, I think I would say I liked quite a bit. Even if the cat killer person was pretty brief. Like that was handled very quickly for how big of a thing it was kind of built up throughout the series as. Because they spent a lot of time making us try to believe it was Zen just for it to be like, hey, it's actually this random dude. Okay, it's taken care of, right? But yeah, I think this is probably where I should talk about the series as a whole. Whew, okay, so when I first started this, I saw it had like a couple of supposedly contradicting tags like horror and comedy, which certainly piqued my interest pretty early on. But the first episode, there really wasn't much of the comedy, but plenty of horror. It really made sure to put a lot of effort into building up this scary atmosphere because, well, it was a horror show. And yeah, I'd say it did it pretty well. Like, I think there was a couple moments in particular, the first episode that really were quite terrifying. Like there was like a ghost under the bed, scene. I think was one of the more memorable ones for me. But then episode 2 came out and it showed a bit more of the comedy side of things. But the show really struck an interesting balance between horror and comedy. Like there really wasn't a lot of the time. It seemed like the various episodes would lean towards one or the other. Like some episodes seemed a bit more horror-ish, some seemed a bit more comedy-ish. The more slice of life focused ones. Because we did have Yuria, like the third friend, added kind of late. So, episodes where they try to focus on her. Like we had the whole choke it out thing, which was hilarious. So, but yeah, the horror comedy balance definitely fluctuated between episodes, I think. But every episode had at least a little bit of each. So I'd say they handled the balance of those two things pretty well, considering they are pretty contradictory tags. So I definitely give the show props for that. And they're definitely a pretty likable cast. Miko, she had a general character design that's pretty much exactly up my alley. So that was really good. We also had Hana, who was just a bubbly, cute, kind of airheaded, Kuishimbo, glutton kind of character who was always a great friend for Miko. She definitely cared about her a lot. Did everything she could to help her out. Always hanging out with her, having a good time, taking pictures, watching movies, just a really great friend, a really great friend all around. So I really enjoyed pretty much anything she did throughout the show, because she was probably one of, aside from Miko herself, she really was like the most important character in the show, because Miko's situation is a very depressing one. You see ghosts everywhere, no matter, nothing is sacred. If you're in the bathroom trying to have a nice relaxing bath, and a bath just and a ghost just joins you, like there's no getting away from them. There's like no break time, right? And that can really heavily eat away at your sanity. But she has Hana, this bubbly, bright light, holy aura girl that really helps to kind of shine a light on her and alleviate some of that potential depression and all that. So she's a pretty important role in that regard. But also just like to contrast the scenes, because on one half Miko will have this ghosty doing scary spooky stuff, and on the other side of her she's got Hana being being Hana, and who does not see the ghost. So even though there's a bit of an atmosphere to the scene, Hana's completely oblivious to it, not to any fault of her own, but still she's oblivious to it. So we get to see this character acting in a way that does not match the atmosphere of the scene whatsoever, but it makes perfect sense because she has no means to understand the atmosphere of the scene. You know, she just occasionally is a little bit confused, like, hey, Hana, hey, Miko, why are you crying all of a sudden? Did something happen? Like, can I help? Right? I mean, this was most clear during like the first shrine scene where we had the shrine spirits first showed up. I think that was probably the best example of what I'm talking about. But we definitely had some multiple instances of it. But yeah, that was one of the best points of comedy. Just Hana being as you would expect anyone like her to be in a scene, even though Miko can't really appreciate it because she's dealing with her own supernatural issues. Like that sort of contrast really was a source of quite a bit of amusement for me at least, right? But Miko, just such a hard life. Such a hard life. And Yuria was fine too. I don't really have much to say about her. You know, she really didn't have as much screen time as Miko or Hana, but I did enjoy her. Right? She was cute. I mean, just the chokehold scene that alone made it worth having her in the show as a character. But yeah, she was also good because we have Miko who has supernatural powers but doesn't really like that fact, tries to ignore it, and then we have Yuria to kind of contrast that because she has some degree of supernatural powers, but also seems to be pretty, into it, right? So definitely made a good balance there. And then of course you have Hana, which just can't see the ghost at all, but especially in her own way, which slowly got expanded on in the show and became relevant to the plot. And then we had Zen, who was I don't even know how to describe Zen at this point. Like, he was brought in fairly early as a potential antagonist, right? Because he showed up. We were going to give him a cat, but he had dark spirits around him, and we noped out of that real quick and gave it to someone else. And then he showed up several episodes later as a teacher, and kind of sort of in an antagonistic role because he was having an effect on Hana and bringing all these dark ghosts in there, and just not good for Miko, who's like here trying to answer questions. She got Sensei on one side of her, Sensei's mom ghost on the other side of her, trying not to lose it, just caused a lot of trouble. But they eventually revealed that Zen's not really a bad person, despite kind of being in this antagonist role, and the true antagonist is actually the evil ghosty around him / the real cat killer. So just, I don't know, thinking about an antagonist role in this show is kind of weird. Like, I don't know, who would you really classify as it, right? Because they put so much emphasis in having a twist reveal on that, but which I'm also a little bit jaded towards twist villains and stuff because of, Pixar did that a lot in their movies. But because it's done poorly a lot, so even in times where it's done decently, sometimes I kind of roll my eyes at it. But that's getting a little bit on a tangent there. But yeah, I think as far as the true antagonist of the show goes, it's just it's really just Miko's powers at the end of the day. Like, that's what causes all of the trouble for our main character, is just her powers, the ability to see the ghosts, right? And that's what she had to battle with throughout the show, and then be able to get a grip on it, get a control of it, be able to deal with it in a healthy way, and still continue to live a fairly healthy life, right? That's really what the true battle in the show was all about. So I guess at the end of the day, yeah, that trumps all the cat killers or shadowy people or, neighbor ladies that put something weird in your food, right? But Yeah, but yeah, as far as the horror aspect goes of the show, it definitely hit the nail on the head. Like I was actually impressed by how much it actually managed to keep the ghost scary. Like whenever you watch because usually with a horror movie, it doesn't have this problem as much because it kind of has a shorter stay. You just watch it in one sitting, you enjoy all the ghosts and scary stuff, and then it's over. But with a series, you like keep coming back week to week and seeing this ghost, which will somewhat same art style to them, so it's much easier to kind of like build a tolerance to it where it's not that scary anymore if you keep seeing it over and over again. So if you really want to keep the fear alive in your audience, you have to like really bring it with the designs and the themes of the ghosts and how they enter and stuff like that. And the show was pretty good about that, keeping it up, because we had just some of the designs are absolutely horrifying. We would have like upside down heads, we'd have big mouths, multiple mouths, long squiggly necks, some of them coming out of trash bags, some of them like really going full horror movie with like an axe, going down multiple people's heads in a row until eventually it gets to you, and our protagonist has to sit there and keep it cool, and just end up waiting herself, right? So yeah, the show did a really good job of that. Like I was legitimately expecting for the horror to like peter out over time, and I would just kind of continue watching it at that point just because I like the characters or enjoy the comedy. But no, the horror did keep pretty solid throughout the show, which I definitely give it props for. And the comedy was pretty good as well. Like, I mean, there's not really much humor that really comes to mind, but just because the humor kind of, it's almost like having a debuff on it, right? When you have horror in the same show, like if you want the comedy to flourish, it takes like extra oomph to get it to do that because contradictory kind of things. But again, I thought it did a pretty decent job given that. But still, if somebody asked me to describe the show in a word, it probably wouldn't be funny. But the comedy it did have, it was all right. It did its job. But it's never going to be what I know the show for, if that makes sense at all. But yeah, I would say for the most part I did enjoy my time with the show. And I really don't think I have much more to say on it than that. But so yeah, I think I'm gonna end it off here. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you click the like button, subscribe, support me on Patreon, maybe watch other videos I do, because I will probably do more videos on more shows in the future, and I've done other videos on other shows in the past, so you can even check that out if you so desire. But for now, bye-bye.